Right now I'm going to demonstrate the use of our Line 6 DL4 Mark II Max for Live sequencer. Keep in mind this is a Max for Live device and can only be used in a version of Ableton that comes with Max for Live. Let's start by putting the device on a MIDI track. Configure the MIDI out drop-down menus to reflect your desired destination for the MIDI data that will be generated by this device. Note that by default the DL4 receives MIDI on channel 1. But here I'm sending MIDI on channel 9, as this is the channel I've configured my DL4 to receive MIDI on. With your MIDI track and DL4 properly configured, we can begin sequencing the parameters of your DL4. Notice the toggle switches above each dial labeled Open. Click any one of these to reveal its respective dial's sequencer window. Here you can modify the timing of each sequencer and tempo relative subdivision, the number of steps, and the direction in which sequencing occurs. You can also randomize a configuration of values by clicking the Rando button. Note that this device is synced with Ableton, so Ableton's clock will need to be running in order for this device to function. Once Ableton is playing, you can start, stop, and restart each sequencer using the controls provided. Now for some specifics. In the Model window, you'll notice a series of tab controls displaying the names of the delay models offered by the DL4. Each tab switches between the Legacy model or Mark II model as indicated by the model selector dial's position. In this, we're emulating whether or not the Legacy switch is on or off as we sequence the model selector dial. Directly below is a button that will create a randomized configuration of these tab switches. In the time/subdiv window, you'll notice a tab control at the very top. This control switches between free and tempo relative delay time values when sequencing the time/subdiv dial. In subdivisions mode, every note value from a dotted half note to an eighth note triplet can be used as a delay time. By default, the DL4 automatically syncs to incoming MIDI clock tempo, so these subdivisions will be meaningful without further configuration. At the top of the device interface is a series of master controls: a MIDI through toggle, a toggle for opening and closing every sequencer window, a toggle for starting and stopping every sequencer, a button to randomize every sequencer's value set, and a button to restart every sequencer. And for those with the perfect blend of disregard and curiosity, we also have a small button at the bottom center of the interface that will randomize every parameter in every sequencer window. At the far right of the interface is a preset module. Every parameter of this device can be saved within a preset. To save a preset, shift-click on an empty cell. To erase a preset, Option-shift-click on a populated cell. And to recall a preset, simply click on a populated cell. Not all of the DL4's MIDI-accessible parameters can be sequenced by this device. A list of all the DL4's MIDI parameters can be found in its user manual. Feature requests are welcome, but for those with the perfect blend of initiative and impatience, modifications to this sequencer can be implemented within the Max for Live environment. In the meantime, happy sequencing and enjoy responsibly.